Hi YouTube, Salina Marie here, and this is my first pregnancy vlog. I'm a little late in the game. I'm already 32 weeks as of today. My weeks roll over on Tuesdays, so I'm freshly 32 weeks. I am in my 8th month so far, and it's been quite a journey. Um, for those of you who may not know, I am a type 1 diabetic, so just a little background on that. I've been on insulin shots for about 4 years. I would take Lantus, just the Lantus Zolostar. It's an insulin pen. It looks kind of like a big Sharpie. I would take that twice a day to kind of regulate me. Prior to now, I didn't really know about any other types of insulin, so I have been on that one. And once I got pregnant, the doctors had spoken to me about switching over to an insulin pump, and that would take me off daily injections, and I would just have to give myself just kind of like one injection once every 3 days. And it was a little scary for me because I'd never known anything else other than just that one shot. So for a little bit I was taking a Novolog pen, which is a mealtime insulin, and you take that whenever you eat. And then on top of that I was taking the other Lantus pen, and I don't know, it was just too much, I guess. So I have been on an insulin pump since maybe about the third month or so into my pregnancy, and it's really helped me out so much. If there's any other type 1 diabetic women out there that are pregnant or you're thinking about getting pregnant, really consider getting an insulin pump. I was terrified out of my mind. I had like horrible stomach cramps the day before I was supposed to go and get it put on, and I was a nervous wreck because I didn't know what to expect, and I had researched it, and I still didn't feel very comfortable. But once I spoke to the person who was setting me up for the pump, and I learned about it a little bit more, and I did the first shot to inject the little, what is it, like a little IV into me, it actually wasn't that bad. So I'm really happy now because my A1C level has gone from a 6.9 down to a 5.2 currently. So I'm in like the completely normal range for a type 1 diabetic. It's as if I don't even really have diabetes, except for the fact that I do, and I'll continue to have it the rest of my life, but it's really well controlled so far throughout this pregnancy. So before I go any further and just keep talking, I'll show you guys my belly, because I know that's what I always look for when I go to these pregnancy videos, and I like fast forward all the way to the end because I know that's where it is. So this one's right now, and I'll show you really quickly. Let's move this. So my 8-month belly for my little baby girl Sophia. This is what she looks like from the front, and you can see this is where my insulin pump is, and I'll pull this up right now so you can see it. She looks much bigger from the front. She's actually kind of awkward though. So this is me from the side, and this is why it's awkward, is because I'm still really flat right here, which is weird, and I don't understand it. So she kind of like pops out from the top, and then she slopes downwards, and then she comes down. So lift this up. So this is what my insulin pump is, and for those of you who don't know what an insulin pump is, I've got this all connected to this big thing that looks kind of like an old school beeper when it's like clipped on my hip. Basically, I just tell this little thing what I'm eating and what my blood sugar is, and it calculates exactly how much insulin that I need to be taking for every meal, or every bag of chips, or every half of a candy bar, or whatever it is I'm eating that day. So it just it goes in right here, and every 3 days I'll peel this off, and then I'll put it on the other side, and I alternate every 3 days. So the only bad thing about this is, I don't know if you can really see it, but I have scars around my belly button. This is a scar up here, these are scars up here. Every time that I put the injection in and it sits there for 3 days, it gives me a little scar. That's the only downfall of having an insulin pump. However, I don't think I would have been able to achieve such wonderful A1C results without it, so I'm all good. This is my dark line. Don't hate. This is Sophia from the front. I wonder if I can give you a from the back. I don't look very pregnant, huh? Which is a good thing. So, for 8 months, this is how big she is. She's actually pretty small in my opinion, and everybody who I talk to and tell them that I am 8 months, they tell me just how small I am. So, some of the things that I have to do differently than other pregnant women are monitor my diet intensely. So, instead of being able to eat everything that I want, I actually don't even have that huge an appetite that I would want to do that. But I have to make sure I'm eating like smaller amounts of junk food if I want it, or I can have large amounts of all the good food, chicken, vegetables, brown rice, all that good stuff. My carb intake is on the smaller side. I try to limit it. If I'm having dinner and I'm making it myself, I'll have like as much chicken breast as I want, as many vegetables as I want. I'll have maybe a cup of rice. I can't overdo it on rice, or I'll have maybe like one piece of garlic toast or something like that. I won't allow myself to have 5 slices the way I would love to, because that would just send me over the edge. So I have to limit those certain carb intakes. Also have my bag of hot Cheetos that I love so much. So I really got to make sure that I like up my insulin dosage to cover all of that. And sometimes it's just not even worth it. If my blood sugar is anywhere over 110 or even 120, I can't have that bag of chips because it'll just put me way too high, and my limit is 130. That's where I'm supposed to be after meals, and just kind of stay underneath that. So sometimes it's been hard, and it took me a little while to regulate myself to get down to that low, but I've been doing a really good job so far. So again, some of the other things that I have to do differently. For this entire pregnancy, I have one of these. I hope you can see it. So this is basically like my kind of like a meal planner, I guess. And I do these every week. And what I do is hold this so you can see. So I have to test my ketones, which means that I pee on this strip of ketone tester. And it tells me whether I'm negative or faint, and that's a whole another story. So I put my results right there in the morning, and then I put my fasting blood sugar, which is mostly all the time 80 to 100. I write down all of the breakfast that I eat, and then an hour later I check my blood sugar, and I'll put it right here. And then before lunch I check my blood sugar again. I put what I ate for lunch right here. After lunch I put my blood sugar here. Before dinner I put it here. Again, I write down what I had for dinner, and then I put my after dinner blood sugar here. I can put the snacks on there if I want to, but I usually don't. This is my bedtime blood sugar, or a 3 a.m. check if I'm feeling kind of low, and then I list my exercise right here. So I've been doing that every single day for this pregnancy, and it can get really exhausting. And it's kind of a pain in the butt. And sometimes I forget, and sometimes I'll bluff the numbers, and because they're good numbers, but I forget to check my sugar afterwards, or I'm too tired. When I go to sleep, I don't test it before, and yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt to write down and test yourself all the time. Pre-pregnancy, I would test my blood sugar maybe like before my meals and after sometimes. And I've always been in the normal range. Like I said, 6.9. It's not excellent. It's not terrible. It's normal, I guess. So now I test my blood sugar maybe 13 times a day. It sounds like a lot, but I test it in the morning, before breakfast, after breakfast, before snack, before lunch, after lunch, before that snack, and then before dinner, after dinner, bedtime snack, and then I'll test it one last time or two last times before I head off to bed. So a lot of finger pricks on here, but it's all worth it. Um, some of the things that help me during my pregnancy, of course, veggies, chicken, anything I can make at home. If I go to a buffet, I head straight for the veggies and all the meats and the proteins and stuff. Um, I discovered these while I was pregnant and I love it. So for a type 1 diabetic, these are amazing. It's Minute Maid, just 15 calories. This one is a fruit punch and it only has 3 grams of sugar per 8-ounce cup. So if you compare that to regular Minute Maid fruit punch or anything else, basically it's about 25 to 27 grams of sugar per cup. This is only 3. And it tastes amazing. And I've been drinking that recently, which is what's in my cup. And then my favorite that they make low sugar is the lemonade. It is, oh, I love it. I drink it almost every day. And I use it to make like fruit smoothies out of. Whenever I'm like wanting something refreshing and wanting to go to Jamba Juice, and I know I can't have all that sugar, I just throw in either some cut up or fruit that I have in my freezer, or I have a bag right now of like a tropical mix. Fresh fruit is fine for me to eat, or frozen fruit is fine too because it's not coated with extra sugars, it's just natural sugars. So I'll just throw that in my little bullet blender and pour the lemonade in there. The lemonade only has 4 grams of sugar per cup, so it's amazing. Also, I have had no stretch marks so far. Knock on wood. And I think that is I think that's because I've had such a strict diet. I think if I were allowing myself to eat whatever I wanted and have like a milkshake with every single breakfast, lunch, and dinner that I had, I think I would balloon up pretty quickly. But I've only gained about 21, 22 pounds so far within the 8 months. So it's been a really slow progress. I started gaining weight maybe like 6.5 to 7 months is when I started gaining weight. I was like really paranoid, and by the first trimester I was supposed to have gained such and such pounds, and I didn't. And even the second trimester I really didn't gain any weight. And I was eating a lot, snacking a lot, and not gaining anything. So the weight just kind of started on its own, I think, when baby started growing. So that really only happened, like I said, recently, like 6, 7 months. And it's just been about normal, about a pound a week-ish, or 1 pound every 2 weeks, or something like that. I don't know. At this point, I'm at a pound a week, basically. So slow and steady is really what keeps like all the stretch marks away. But also to help prevent, I personally love using the Vaseline brand. It's the Total Moisture Cocoa Radiance, and it's amazing. I read somebody else recommend this product, and I've been using it ever since. Most moisturizers on my skin, even the ones that are for dry skin, they just tend to dry right away. And this one will, if I put it on at night, I still feel pretty hydrated by the morning. So I love it. I put it all over my body because as of right now, I am swelling everywhere. And this recently started too. Maybe within the last couple weeks or so, I really started noticing my fingers, my arms, my legs, my ankles, my feet, my toes, everything is swollen. By the end of the day, I'm pretty puffy. By the beginning of the day, I feel normal. So it just kind of fluctuates. I just recently took a trip to LA, and I was doing a lot of sitting in the car and driving, and then standing and talking and mingling, and then driving home, which was an extra hour-and-a-half trip because there was a bad accident and everything was closed, and I was pretty miserable. And my feet were the size of the moon. It was awful. But I elevated them, and then it was all good by the morning time. So that is a little bit about my pregnancy. I'll make a couple more videos separate from this, just to kind of go over and more in depth to different things, mostly type 1 diabetes related. I might go into one that's more diet related and show you and break down my blood sugar numbers. And then I'll also just be doing a simple weekly post, which I guess this one's kind of a weekly post. So maybe I'll talk about what I did at the doctor today. I'm sorry, I'm thinking. I'll break it down to you really quick. I went to the doctor today, and starting today, I have been assigned to do a non-stress test and BVPs, I think is what they're called. It's just like a small ultrasound where they check certain things. They check the fluid measurements, and they were checking her liver functions and certain specific things to make sure that they're okay. It's not like the fun type where they print you out a whole bunch of pictures. The ultrasound tech was actually really nice enough to print us out a couple pictures. We got a good picture of Sophia's face and some cute pictures of her toes. So everything was like all good with that. She was bumping around and extending her legs, and they're really long and they're so beautiful. And she was swallowing her fluid, and so she was practicing her eating and swallowing techniques. And they usually say when babies do that a lot, they're going to be good eaters when they're born. So I'm hoping that she is. So after that, I was sent to do my non-stress test. And what I hear is that most women have maybe one throughout their pregnancy. I will have maybe 8 from here on out, depending on when I deliver. So every week I go in, and this is because I am a high-risk pregnancy being diabetic. So they want to double check and make sure that they're on top of everything that's going on with her. Make sure that nothing goes wrong. So they strap me in, they put these like bands across my belly. One measures Sophia's heart rate, and then the other one measures whether you're having contractions or not, which I wasn't. So they gave me this like little buzzer thing, and I felt like I was on like a game show, and I had to like ring it when I knew the answer. And they're like, press this button whenever she makes a movement. Okay, cool. So I'm like laying there talking to Nicholas, and there's not really much happening. I feel a little kick here and there. So I press the button, and I press it again. And so the nurse comes in and she checks the paper. The first 15 minutes I was there, the paper was jammed. So that 15 minutes was lost progress. So she resets it, and then she comes back in about 10 minutes. And I've been pressing the button a little bit. And she's looking at it, and she looks really concerned. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh, that's good. So she's like, let me check the doctor. So she takes it over to the doctor. And I guess the doctor doesn't like what she sees, and the baby's not moving enough. So then this other nurse comes in, and she gives me this big bottle of water, which I hate water, and she's like, I want you to chug this. I say, okay. So I chug it in like a minute, and I guess the cold water is supposed to stimulate the baby. I wasn't really doing much. So on a third attempt, the doctor brought in, or the nurse brought in this like little buzzer thing, and she's like, I'm gonna buzz your baby, and it's gonna sound like a really loud noise to her, and to you it's not gonna do anything. So she like puts it on my arm, she buzzes it. It doesn't feel anything. It feels like a little vibration, and I hear a little noise, but it's not a whole lot to me. So oh, I feel so bad. So she puts it on my lower abdomen, and she holds the top half of my abdomen, and she pushes the button, and poor Sophia just jolts up, and it was like she had gotten tased. And then after that she started moving a whole lot more, but I just felt so bad that I like had to get to that point where they had to kind of shock her awake. Poor thing was probably just like taking a nap. She had hiccups for like 7 minutes, and it was so cute, and I'm just watching her hiccup on my belly, and then I had to shock her and wake her up. And yeah, anyways, I was there for about an hour when this was a 20-minute test. So we finally got results that were okay, and then I was able to go home. So I'll have to repeat that process every week. I've heard some other women go like twice a week, every week, until their due date. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. This was my first time going, so the next time I'm going to take snacks and other things to, because I was there for a long time. Who knows how long I'm going to be there next time. Um, but yeah, other than that, everything's good and healthy with her, and she seems to be growing right on time. So I'm really happy because diabetics tend to have big babies, and I am not going to have a big baby. So let's just hope that she stays so small. So this kind of sums up my first pregnancy vlog. Like I said, I'll make another one that goes more in depth into my routines and what's going on with me as a diabetic. And then there will just be weekly updates too. So thanks for listening. If you stood this entire video, I'm very proud of you. Okay, well, talk to you later. Bye.